All right, what's going on? Today I am going to polish a 409 stainless steel catback exhaust for my 99 to 04 Cobra. This is actually going on my 01 Bullitt that has an IRS swap in it. So this is the Flowmaster 409 stainless kit. You can see I already polished one of these pipes here, kind of did a half-ass job on it. It's just sort of a tester. But from factory, you've got all these machining marks. It needed to be sanded out of it. And this is the after, the half-ass after. So I'm going to do this other side today, depending on how it turns out. I might redo this first side here. I'm only going to polish these tailpipes because that's all that's seen from the back side of the car, which is what I'm most concerned with here. So get this box stable before we walk on over to the work area. So we got here bench vise, couple pieces of plywood in here so I can clamp down on that exhaust and I'm not damaging the surface at all. I laid a piece of plywood out here on our metal workbench just so when I'm moving the exhaust around, polishing it by hand, it's not getting scratched up on this metal surface. I've got some 320 discs, 400 pads, 500 pad, 1000 pad, DA sander, these little buffing wheels for the drill here, and dark brown compound, red compound, green compound. This kit here I got from Amazon. It was the three wheels and the 3 compounds. Actually, I think there's a 4th compound as well in there for like $25. I'll see if I can find the link to that and attach it below. And then when I finish out, I'll start with the brown compound, go to the red, finish out with the green, and I'll probably blast it with some auto sol here and the mother's power cone towards the end. So I'll get the exhaust queued up in the vise here and we'll get cracking at it, but we'll start out with the 320 and we'll try and get all the major flaws and imperfections out of the metal with the 320 and then work our way up from there. So when the exhaust is on the car, this is roughly how the tailpipes are oriented. So what you're going to see when you're behind the car is mostly this area of the tailpipe here. You can see there's all these marks from machining, from bending the tubing and whatnot. So I'm going to spend a lot of time, extra attention, really working this with the sandpaper to get rid of all these little minor surface imperfections. So you can see here I got the wooden jaws in the vise. I'm going to tighten this down. Nice long pieces of wood here to distribute that load and prevent from kinking the tubing or crimping the tubing here. Tighten this down a little bit. A little bit more. Okay, not going anywhere. So I'll get the 320 on the DA sander and we'll start working this right here. The very first thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to give this a quick wipe down with some brake cleaner, just to get rid of any grease and oil from the remaining from the manufacturing process. All right. I'll take our DA here with a 320 grit disc on it. We'll just start working this. You can see like this kind of stuff, these lines here for manufacturing. As you can see there, nice and smooth. We got rid of all this kind of stuff you don't want to polish over top of that. Just going to try and get this whole tailpipe here to about this state, and then we'll move on to the next stage of sanding grit. All right, so I'm done with this one section of pipe here. You can see there is some deeper stuff here, which I could probably drop down to a 220 grit and machine that out. Like I said, this is going to be the underside of the car. Not super visible, especially not from a close distance, so I'm not too worried about that. What I've been told is some of the higher quality kits, something like a Bassani or a MagnaFlow, they have much less of these types of surface imperfections. But this kit here was on sale direct from Holley, from the Holley website for like $349. So the price couldn't be beat. I like the sound of the Flowmaster, so that's why I went with this. But yeah, anyhow, I'm not super concerned about this type of stuff. I just want it to be shiny from 20 feet away. You can see here there are quite a few imperfections in this from manufacturing. You can see where they were welding pieces together. Little seams at most of the bends. Stuff like this. But like I said, it'll present well from 20 feet away. That's all that's required here. Alright, so I'm just taking this 500 grit pad and giving this a good wipe down. A nice finish to work with before we start polishing, and I'll hit it with this 1000 grit pad as well, and then we'll get into it with the buffing wheels and compounds. The fun stuff. Wiped out with a 1000 grit pad here. As you can see, some of the stuff from manufacturing, I'd have to hit that probably with a 220 and really dig in there deep with it. That kind of stuff isn't going to be exposed anyhow. Like I said, it's only really basically this part of the tailpipe that you're going to see from behind the car. But already this looks so much better than it did from the way it came from the manufacturer. So now let's get into this with the small buffing wheels on the drill. If you haven't picked up on it by now, I am by no means a polishing expert. I'm a weekend warrior hack, and even that might be embellishing it a little bit. But I'm going to start off here with this dark compound on the drill. We'll start with this surface right here, see what we get. Just try and get into a favorable camera position here. There we go. Step one to shiny. So I'm going to work this stuff with the various 3 compounds here, and then we'll check back in closer towards the end. All right, all finished with the green compound. As you can see, we're looking pretty darn decent, I would say. So I'm going to finish this out with this, my favorite polish, this Auto Sol and the Mother's Power Cone. This is the same stuff we use on our big rigs here. We touch them up every few weeks, and it works quite well. It's got lots of solvent in it, so it really cuts through the oxidization efficiently, shall we say. Anyhow, I'll do a couple dabs of this stuff. Let's start on the vital part over here. It doesn't take much, especially once the cone becomes saturated with the polish. A little wipe down here with a rag. There we go, final-ish product. Not too shabby. I'll just finish this up and we'll check back in when it's all done here. All right, so just like that, we are done. And I would say it looks a whole lot better than it did when we started here. So we'll put it up with our other tailpipe. They are out gently on the floor here. And the rest of the kit I'm not going to bother with. I mean, the muffler's already painted black anyhow. This stuff is stainless. I'm not going to bother polishing that up because you'll never really see that. Like I said, it was just the look from the back of the car that I was most concerned about. And I think it came out pretty darn good. Like I said with this kit, this Flowmaster kit, there's some welds and whatnot, some machining marks that you know, you probably could muscle them out of there, but I'm not too concerned with it. If I was, I probably would have bought a Bassani or Stainless Works or something like that. So anyhow, hope this helps somebody. Like I said, this is a 409 stainless rather than 304, so I'd seen some questions, people wondering if it could be polished or not. Yes, it can. What I've heard is it doesn't hold the polish quite like a 304 stainless will, just because of the composition of the metal. The car that I'm putting this on, my 2001 Bullitt, is just going to be a weekend cruiser. It'll never see rain. It'll never see winter, so I'm not too concerned about it. This is probably going to be the first video I'll do related to that car. It's been a 2-year build, 2 years in the works. So I'm hoping within the next 4 to 6 weeks here to get a dyno video and a walkthrough of the car. I should have started off from the get-go when the build started 2 years ago. It started out as a $10,000 budget, and it's sitting right around 90 to 100 grand now. So it should be a pretty cool build by the time it's done. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Check back in with you next time.